Hannah floated in the silence of space. Behind her, the dark side of the moon stretched out like a sea of shadows. In front of her, a billion stars sparkled like diamonds scattered across black velvet. It was the most beautiful thing she had ever seen. It was also the most terrifying. She was alone. Completely alone. If the shadow gate had broken, if something had gone wrong, she would die here in the darkness, far from Earth, far from everyone she loved. But the gate had worked. She had passed through it in less than a second. One moment she was inside the mountain in Korea. The next moment she was here, hundreds of thousands of kilometers away. Station 7. This is Captain Hada, she said into her radio. I have arrived at the target location. The gate works. Repeat, the gate works. For a moment, there was only static. Then Dr. Minho's voice came through, filled with emotion. Captain, we read you. This is wonderful news. Absolutely wonderful. How long until the fleet is ready to come through? Hannah asked. 30 minutes. Commander Tay is bringing all ships to the gate now. Can you hold your position until then? I can hold. Hannah turned her ship so she could see Earth. From here, it looked so small. A tiny blue bowl floating in endless darkness. Somewhere on that bowl, millions of people were dying. Cities were burning. Children were crying for their parents. She clenched her fists. I will save you, she whispered. I promise. While Hannah waited, Commander Tay was leading the fleet through Earth's atmosphere. 300 ships flew in perfect formation, their silver bodies catching the sunlight. They looked like a river of metal flowing through the sky. The alien ships finally noticed them. On the command vessel, the alien leader stared at his screen with disbelief. Where did these ships come from? He demanded. His name was Vok, and he had conquered 73 planets in his career. He had never seen anything like this. Unknown, Supreme Commander, said his officer. Our scans showed no advanced technology on this planet. No space program beyond primitive rockets. Then our scans were wrong. Vok shouted. How is that possible? We watched this planet for years. We knew everything about them. But Vok did not know everything. He did not know about the crash ship in 1965. He did not know about the decades of secret research. He did not know about the Shadowgate. Humans had kept their greatest secrets hidden from the universe. Destroy them, Vok ordered. Send 50 ships. That should be more than enough for these primitive creatures. 50 alien warships broke away from the main fleet. They were massive, each one carrying enough firepower to destroy a small moon. They moved toward the human ships with confidence. This would be easy, they thought. This would be quick. Commander Tay saw them coming. He smiled. All ships, this is Commander Tay. Prepare for engagement. Remember your training. Remember what we are fighting for. Today, we show these invaders that Earth is not their prize. Earth is our home. The two fleets met above the Pacific Ocean. The alien ships fired first. Beams of red energy shot toward the human ships, expecting to cut through them like paper. But something strange happened. The beams hit the human shields and stopped. They did not pass through. They did not cause any damage. The shields held. The aliens were shocked. Their weapons had never failed before. Their weapons had destroyed civilizations across the galaxy. How were these humans blocking them? The answer was simple. The humans had studied the crashed alien ship for 60 years. They had learned its secrets. They had built shields using the same technology, but improved. The shields were stronger than anything the aliens had ever faced. Now it was humanity's turn. All ships fire! Tay commanded. Blue beams of energy erupted from the human fleet. They sliced through the alien shields like they were made of glass. One alien ship exploded. Then another. Then 5 more. In less than 3 minutes, 20 alien ships were destroyed. The remaining 30 turned and fled back to the main fleet. On his command ship, Vought could not believe what he was seeing. His ships were running. His undefeatable fleet was running from humans. "This is impossible," he said quietly. "This cannot be happening." But it was happening. And it was only the beginning. At Station 7, the Shadow Gate was glowing brighter than ever. Energy danced around its edge like captured lightning. One by one, human ships were flying through it, disappearing from Earth and reappearing behind the moon. Hana watched as the first ship emerged from the gate. It was a beautiful sight. Then came another ship. And another. Soon, there were 10 ships floating beside her. Then 50. Then 100. "Captain Ha," said Tay's voice through her radio. He had passed through the gate and was now in his command ship beside her. "Excellent work getting here first. You have given us the advantage we need." "Thank you, Commander," Hana replied. "What are your orders?" "We wait. We let the rest of the fleet come through. Then we attack from behind. The aliens have no idea we can appear anywhere we want. They think we are still on the other side of Earth. By the time they understand what is happening, it will be too late." More ships kept arriving. 200. 250. Finally, all 300 ships were gathered behind the moon, hidden from alien sensors. Meanwhile, on Earth, Admiral Yuna watched the battle with hope growing in her heart. The human ships had won the first fight. 50 alien ships had been stopped by only 60 human defenders. The aliens were not invincible. They could be beaten. "Admiral," said Lieutenant Su with excitement in his voice, "our ships are through the gate. All of them. They are in position behind the moon." "Excellent," Yuna said. "Tell Commander Tay to wait for my signal. We need the aliens to think they are winning. We need them to focus all their attention here on Earth." Yuna turned to face the screen. The alien fleet was regrouping. They were angry now. They were preparing a massive attack, sending all 400 ships to destroy the human fleet near Earth. "Come on," Yuna whispered. "Take the bait. Focus on what you can see. Ignore what you cannot see." The alien fleet moved. All 400 ships formed one giant line and headed toward the remaining human ships that were still visible on Earth's side. This was exactly what Yuna wanted. "Now," she said, "tell Commander Tay to attack now. Hit them from behind while they are focused on us." Behind the moon, Commander Tay received the order. He looked at Hana, who was ready in her ship at the front of the fleet. "Captain Hana," he said, "you will lead the charge. Take us to victory." Hana felt no fear. She felt only determination. She gripped her controls and spoke to the entire fleet. "Warriors of Earth, this is Captain Hana. The enemy thinks they know us. They think we are weak. They think we are afraid. But we are humans. We have fire in our hearts and steel in our souls. Today, we teach them what it means to face humanity. Follow me." She pushed her engines to full power. Her ship shot forward, racing around the moon, heading straight for the unprotected rear of the alien fleet. Behind her, 300 ships followed, a wave of silver and blue cutting through the darkness of space. The aliens never saw them coming. They were looking the wrong way. They were focused on the small group of human ships in front of them. They had made the biggest mistake of their lives. "For Earth!" Hana shouted. "For Earth!" And the Shadowgate's ultimate purpose was about to be revealed. Commander Tay walked through the underground base with purpose in every step. All around him, men and women in blue uniforms were running to their stations. The sound of engines warming up filled the air like thunder. This was the moment they had trained for. This was the moment their entire lives had been leading to. The base was called Station Prime. It was located 3 miles beneath the Pacific Ocean. hidden under rock and water where no satellite could see it. Building it had taken 30 years and the secret cooperation of every major government on Earth. Politicians who fought about everything else had agreed on one thing when the aliens came. Humanity needed to be ready. Tay entered the main control room. Dozens of screens showed different parts of the base. He could see pilots climbing into their ships. He could see engineers running final checks on weapon systems. Everything was moving exactly as planned. "Commander," said a young officer named Hyan. He was only 25 but had one of the sharpest minds in the fleet. "All ships report ready for launch. We can leave in 90 minutes. "That's not fast enough," Tay said. "The cities are burning. We need to move faster." "Sir, the engines need time to reach full power. If we rush, we risk system failures." Tay knew Hyan was right. They could not afford to make mistakes. The hidden fleet was humanity's only chance. If they failed, there would be no second attempt. "Do what you can," Tay said. "Every minute matters." While Tay prepared the fleet, Captain Hana was making her way to a different location. Station 7 was smaller than Station Prime, hidden inside a mountain in northern Korea. Only 50 people knew it existed. Even most government leaders had never heard of it. Hana arrived at the entrance, a small door hidden behind a waterfall. She pressed her palm against the scanner and the door slid open. Inside, she found a narrow tunnel that led deep into the mountain. After walking for 10 minutes, she reached the heart of Station 7, and there, floating in the center of a massive room, was the Shadow Gate. It was beautiful. The gate was a ring made of strange metal that glowed with soft blue light. It was 50 meters wide, big enough for a large ship to fly through. Scientists had spent 40 years studying it and building it using pieces from the crashed alien ship. "Captain Hana," said a voice. She turned to see Dr. Minho, the chief scientist of the Shadowgate project. He was an old man with white hair and glasses that were always sliding down his nose. "We have been waiting for you. Is it ready?" Hana asked. Minho smiled, but there was worry in his eyes. "The gate is ready. But I must be honest with you, Captain. We have only tested it twice, and only with small objects. We have never sent a human through. We have never sent a ship through. But it works? In theory, yes. The gate creates a hole in space. You enter here, and you exit somewhere else instantly. We can program any exit point within the solar system." Hana looked at the gate. Her heart was beating fast, but her hands were steady. "Where will I exit?" "Behind the moon. The dark side. The aliens cannot see that location from Earth. Once you are there, you will lead the fleet through the gate. The entire fleet will appear behind the enemy before they know what is happening." It was a bold plan. A dangerous plan. If it worked, humanity would win. If it failed, Hana would die alone in the darkness of space. "I'll do it," Hana said without hesitation. While Hana prepared for her mission, the situation on Earth grew worse. The alien ships had stopped their attack for a moment. They were waiting for humanity's surrender. But when no surrender came, they began again with even more fury. Admiral Yuna watched from the underground command center as the city of Tokyo burned. The beautiful skyline was now nothing but smoke and fire. Millions of people were running through the streets, trying to escape. But there was nowhere to go. "Admiral," said Lieutenant Su, "the enemy is sending another message." The cold alien voice filled the room once again. "People of Earth, your governments have refused to surrender. This is unacceptable. We will now begin the second phase of our conquest. Every military base on your planet will be destroyed. After that, we will select one city every hour for complete elimination. This is the cost of your resistance." Yuna felt anger rise in her chest. These creatures saw humans as nothing. They were insects to be crushed. They had no idea what humans were capable of. "Admiral," Sue said quietly, "should we surrender? Maybe we can save some lives. Maybe we can negotiate." Una looked at the young lieutenant. He was scared. Everyone in the room was scared. But she could not show fear. She was their leader. "No," she said firmly. "We do not surrender. We are humans. We have faced extinction before. We have survived ice ages and plagues and wars. We have always found a way to survive. And we will survive this." She turned to face everyone in the room. "I know you are afraid. I am afraid too. But I need you to trust me. There is a plan. There has always been a plan. The enemy thinks we are weak. They are about to learn how wrong they are." Back in Station Prime, Commander Tay received word that the fleet was ready. 300 ships, each carrying a crew of 20, were waiting for his order. 6,000 of Earth's bravest men and women, ready to fight. "Open the launch doors." Tay commanded. Above the base, hidden sections of the ocean floor began to move. Huge doors, disguised as ordinary rocks, slid apart. Water rushed in, but the ships were ready. They were designed to launch from underwater. "All ships," Tay said into his radio. "This is Commander Tay. Today is the day we have trained for. Today is the day we show the universe what humanity can do. Our families are counting on us. Our planet is counting on us. Do not be afraid. Be proud. You are the defenders of Earth." He paused for a moment, then continued. "Launch sequence initiated. All ships, follow my lead. We are going to save our world." One by one, the ships rose from the ocean floor. They moved silently through the dark water, then burst through the surface into the sky. Water fell from their silver bodies like rain. They climbed higher and higher, through the clouds, into space that the alien ships did not notice at first. They were focused on the destruction below. But then, one alien commander saw something strange on his sensors. "What is that?" he asked. His officer looked confused. "Unknown vessels, Commander. Coming from the planet's surface? 300 of them. That's impossible. Our scans showed no space capability. But it was not impossible. It was very real. And it was coming straight for them. At Station 7, Hana climbed into her ship. It was smaller than the others, built for speed and precision. She would go through the gate first. She would make sure it was safe. Then she would guide the fleet to victory. "Captain," Dr. Minho said through her radio, "the gate is activating. You will launch in 60 seconds. Hannah took a deep breath. She thought about her father. She thought about all the people dying on Earth right now. She thought about all the people who would die if she failed. "I'm ready," she said. The shadow gate began to glow brighter. Energy moved through it like lightning. The air itself seemed to shake with power. "Gate is stable," Minho said. "Launch now, Captain. Fly true. The fate of humanity is in your hands." Hannah pushed the throttle forward. Her ship shot toward the glowing ring. For one moment, everything was light and sound and energy. Then there was nothing, and then she was on the other side, floating in the darkness behind the moon, looking at 1,000,000 stars. "I made it," she whispered. "I made it." The shadow gate worked. Now it was time to bring the fleet through. Now it was time to win. The morning started like any other morning. Birds sang in the trees. Children walked to school. People drank their coffee and read the news. Nobody knew that everything was about to change. Admiral Una stood in her office on the 32nd floor of the United Nations building. She was 53 years old, with gray hair and tired eyes. She had spent her whole life preparing for something she hoped would never happen. Now, as she looked out the window at the blue sky, her phone rang. "Admiral, you need to see this," said the voice on the other end. It was Lieutenant Sue from the Space Monitoring Center. Yuna walked quickly to the elevator. Her heart was beating fast. She had received thousands of calls in her career, but something in Sue's voice told her this was different. The monitoring center was underground, hidden beneath an old factory outside the city. When Yuna arrived, she found 20 people staring at screens with wide eyes. Nobody was speaking. The room was completely silent. "Show me," Yuna said. Lieutenant Sue pointed at the main screen. Yuna saw dots. Hundreds of dots. They were moving toward Earth from the direction of Mars. "What am I looking at?" Yuna asked, but she already knew the answer. "Ships," Sue said. His voice was shaking. "Alien ships. Over 400 of them. They will reach Earth in 6 hours." Yuna closed her eyes for a moment. For 60 years, governments around the world had hidden the truth from their people. In 1965, a small alien ship had crashed in the mountains of Korea. The ship was damaged, but inside they found technology beyond anything humans had ever seen. They found something else too, a warning. A message that said others would come. Now they were here. "Contact the underground command center," Yuna ordered. "Wake up Commander Tay and tell no one else." Not yet. The next 6 hours were the longest of Yuna's life. She watched the screens as the alien ships came closer and closer. They were huge. Each ship was the size of a small city. They were black and shaped like triangles. They moved through space without making any sound. At exactly 3:47 p.m., the ships entered Earth's atmosphere. They appeared over every major city at the same time. New York, London, Tokyo, Seoul, Beijing. The sky turned dark as the massive ships blocked out the sun. People on the streets stopped walking. They looked up with fear in their eyes. Some screamed. Some ran. Some just stood there, unable to move or speak. Then the message came. Every television, every radio, every phone on Earth received the same message at the same time. The voice was cold and had no emotion. "People of Earth, we are the commanders of the Galactic Empire. Your planet now belongs to us. Do not resist. Resistance will result in destruction. You have 1 hour to surrender all weapons and all governments. This is your only warning." Yuna listened to the message in the underground command center. Around her, young soldiers were crying. Some were praying. They all believed this was the end, but Yuna did not cry. She picked up her phone and made one call. "It's time," she said. "Begin the awakening." On the other side of the world, deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, Commander Tay received the call. He was a tall man with broad shoulders and calm eyes. He had waited his entire career for this moment. "Understood, Admiral," he said. "The hidden ones will rise." Tay walked through long metal hallways that stretched for miles underground. This place had taken 30 years to build. 10,000 workers had constructed it in complete secrecy. Most of them never knew what they were really building. Finally, Tay reached a massive door. He placed his hand on a scanner. The door opened with a loud sound, and lights turned on one by one, showing what was inside. Ships. Human ships. 300 of them. They were sleek and beautiful, painted in silver and blue. They were built using technology from the crashed alien ship, combined with human creativity and hard work. Each ship was armed with weapons that could cut through enemy shields. Each ship was faster than anything the aliens had ever seen. "Wake them up," Tay said into his radio. "Wake them all up." All around the world, in hidden bases under mountains and oceans, the same scene was happening. Pilots who had trained in secret for years ran to their ships. Engineers started engines that had never been turned on. The Earth's hidden fleet was coming to life. Back in the cities, the situation was getting worse. The alien ships had started firing. Beams of red light shot down from the sky, destroying buildings and bridges. The screams of people filled the air. Military jets flew toward the enemy, but they were destroyed in seconds. Tanks fired their weapons, but they did nothing against the alien shields. The whole world watched in horror as city after city fell. The news showed images of destruction that nobody could believe. This was not a movie. This was real. In a small apartment in Seoul, a young woman named Hana watched the news. She was 30 years old, with short black hair and strong arms. She was a pilot. Not an ordinary pilot. She was the best pilot Earth had ever trained. And she had been waiting for this call her whole life. Her phone rang. "Captain Hana," said the voice. "Report to Station 7. The Shadowgate mission is active." Hana turned off the television. She looked at the photo on her wall, a picture of her father, who had died building the secret fleet. He had told her, when she was just a little girl, that one day she would save the world. "I'm coming, father," she whispered outside. The alien ships continued their attack. They believed they had already won. They believed Earth was weak and helpless. They had conquered 1,000 planets before this one. They had never lost, but they had made one mistake. They had underestimated humans. They had underestimated how long humans could keep a secret. They had underestimated how hard humans would fight to protect their home. In 6 hours. They would learn the truth. In the underground command center. Admiral Yuna watched the destruction with pain in her heart. Every death hurt her deeply. But she knew she had to wait. The fleet was not ready yet. The Shadowgate was not active yet. How much longer? She asked. 4 hours, answered Lieutenant Su. The gate needs 4 more hours. Yuna nodded. 4 hours. 4 hours of death and destruction. 4 hours of letting the enemy think they had won. "Tell our people to hold on," she said. "Help is coming. Tell them to hold on just a little longer." And somewhere deep beneath the ocean, the engines of 300 warships roared to life, ready to change the course of history. The universe seemed to hold its breath. 300 human ships raced through the void, moving faster than anything the aliens had ever encountered. Captain Hana led them forward, her eyes fixed on the enemy fleet ahead. The aliens were still focused on Earth. Their 400 warships were arranged in a perfect attack formation, preparing to destroy the small group of human defenders. They had no idea what was coming from behind. Lieutenant Wu was in his ship, flying just behind Hana. He was young, only 28, but he was one of the most skilled gunners in the fleet. His hands moved over his weapon controls with practiced ease. "Distance to enemy, 2,000 kilometers, Wu reported. "Weapons charged and ready." "Hold your fire," Hana said. "We need to be closer. We need every shot to count." The gap between the fleets shrunk rapidly. 1,500 kilometers. 1,000. 700. Still, the aliens did not notice them. They were completely focused on the wrong enemy, on the alien command ship. Supreme Commander Vok was giving orders for the final attack. "Destroy every human ship," he commanded. "Then we will burn their cities to ash. They dared to resist us. They will pay the price." "Supreme Commander," said an officer suddenly, "our rear sensors are detecting something. What is it?" The officer's face went pale. "Ship, Supreme Commander." "Many ships. Coming from behind the moon." Vok spun around to face the main display screen. His eyes went wide. The screen showed a wave of silver vessels approaching at incredible speed. They were already too close. They were already in firing range. "Turn the fleet," Vok shouted. "Turn around." Turn. But it was too late. Fire. Hana screamed. 300 human ships opened fire at once. Blue energy beams cut through space like 1,000 swords of light. They struck the rear of the alien fleet with devastating force. the first 20 alien ships never had a chance. Their shields were facing the wrong direction. The beams passed through them, turning metal and machinery into fire and dust. Explosions lit up the darkness of space. "We hit them!" Wu shouted. "Direct hits on multiple targets." "Keep firing," Hannah ordered. "Don't give them time to reorganize." The human ships spread out, attacking from every angle. They moved with speed and precision that the aliens could not match. For decades, human pilots had trained for this exact scenario. They knew every weakness in alien ship design. They knew exactly where to aim. More alien ships exploded. 30, 40, 50. The debris scattered across space like broken toys. Commander Tay watched from his flagship with fierce pride. "All ships, press the attack. Don't let them recover. This is our moment." The aliens tried to fight back. Some ships managed to turn around and fire at the human fleet. But they were confused and scared. Their shots went wild, missing their targets. The humans were too fast, too skilled. On Earth, Admiral Yuna watched the battle through satellite feeds. Tears of joy rolled down her face. After all these years of preparation, after all the secrets and sacrifices, their plan was working. "They're doing it," Lieutenant Su said with wonder in his voice. "They're actually winning." "Of course they are," Yuna said. "They are humans. We always find a way to survive." In the chaos of battle, Supreme Commander Vok tried to rally his forces. "All ships form a defensive circle," he commanded. "Focus fire on the lead vessel. Kill their leader." 50 alien ships targeted Hannah's position. Weapons locked onto her small ship. Red beams of energy shot toward her from every direction. Hannah saw them coming. She pushed her ship into a sharp dive, spinning between the beams with incredible skill. Her ship moved like a dancer, beautiful and deadly. "You'll have to do better than that," she muttered. But one beam came too close. It scraped against her shield, causing sparks to fly across her control panel. Warning lights flashed. Her shield was weakening. "Captain Ha, your shield is at 40%. Wu's voice came through her radio. "Fall back. Let us cover you." "No," Hannah said. "I'm not running. Cover my flanks. I'm going straight for their command ship. That's suicide." "No, that's victory." Hannah pushed her engines harder than ever before. Her ship rocketed toward the massive alien command vessel. Around her, other human ships moved to protect her, shooting down any enemy that got too close. Vok saw her coming. The small human ship was heading directly for him. It was madness. One little ship against his mighty warship. "Destroy that insect," he ordered. Every weapon on the command ship fired at Hannah. The space around her became a storm of red energy. She twisted and turned, dodging blast after blast. Her shield dropped to 20%. Then 10%. "Come on," she whispered. "Just a little closer." She was now only 500 meters from the command ship. She could see its massive hull filling her entire view. She aimed her weapons at the ship's main engine section, the one weak point that the crashed alien ship had revealed decades ago. "For my father," Anna said. "For everyone who built this dream. For Earth." She fired everything she had. Blue beams of energy struck the command ship's engines. For a moment, nothing happened. Then a small explosion. Then a bigger one. Then the entire engine section burst into flames. The command ship began to fall apart. Sections broke away from the main body. Fire spread through its corridors. Alarms screamed in every room. Vok stared at the destruction around him with disbelief. His ship, his beautiful, undefeatable ship, destroyed by one human pilot. "Abandon ship," he ordered quietly. Abandon ship. But there was nowhere to go. The human fleet had surrounded them. Escape pods that launched were captured or destroyed. The great Supreme Commander, conqueror of 73 planets, had finally met an enemy he could not defeat. The destruction of the command ship broke the spirit of the alien fleet. Some ships tried to run. They flew toward the edge of the solar system, hoping to escape into deep space. But the human fleet was everywhere now. They had used the Shadow Gate to position themselves at every escape route. "They're trapped," Commander Tay said. "They have nowhere to go. What are your orders?" Wu asked. Tay thought for a moment. The aliens had killed millions of humans today. They had burned cities and destroyed families. Part of him wanted revenge. Part of him wanted to destroy every last alien ship. But he was a soldier, not a murderer. "Open a channel to all alien vessels," he said. "Tell them to surrender. Tell them if they power down their weapons, they will be treated fairly. We are not like them. We do not kill those who cannot fight back." Hannah listened to the message from her damaged ship. Her shield was gone. Her engines were failing. But she was smiling. "That's what makes us human," she said softly. "We win with honor." One by one, the alien ships stopped fighting. They powered down their weapons. They surrendered. For the first time in galactic history, the mighty alien empire had been defeated. And they had been defeated by a species they had called primitive. A species they had underestimated. They had been defeated by humans. The battle was over. The darkness of space was filled with the wreckage of alien ships, twisted metal floating silently among the stars. Of the 400 vessels that had come to conquer Earth, only 120 remained. And those were now prisoners. Captain Hannah's damaged ship drifted slowly toward Commander Tay's flagship. Her engines were dead. Her life support was failing, but she was alive. Against all odds, she was alive. "Captain Ha, this is Flagship 1. We are bringing you in. Hold tight." "Understood," Hannah said weakly. She was exhausted. Every muscle in her body ached. But when she looked at Earth through her cracked window, she felt nothing but joy. The blue planet was still there. It was still beautiful. It was still home. A rescue team pulled Hannah from her ship moments before her oxygen ran out. They carried her to the medical bay, where doctors immediately began treating her injuries. She had broken 3 ribs. She had burns on her arms. But she was smiling. Commander Tay came to see her an hour later. He stood beside her bed with respect in his eyes. "Captain Hannah," he said, "what you did today was incredible. You flew into the heart of the enemy fleet. You destroyed their command ship. You broke their spirit." Hannah shook her head. "I just did what needed to be done. We all did. You are too humble. Because of you, millions of lives were saved. Because of you, Earth is free." On Earth, the celebrations had already begun. In cities that had escaped destruction, people poured into the streets. They laughed. They cried. They hugged strangers like family. The nightmare was over. Admiral Yuna stood in the underground command center, watching the reports come in. Around her, young soldiers were cheering and crying with happiness. Lieutenant Su was on his knees, thanking whatever gods he believed in. "Admiral," said a voice behind her. Yuna turned to find a young woman in a torn uniform. She was one of the technicians who had worked on the Shadow Gate. "The world wants to know what happened," the young woman said. "They want to know how we won. They want to know about the fleet, about the gate, about everything." Yuna nodded slowly. For 60 years, the greatest secret in human history had been kept hidden. Now it was time for the truth. "Prepare a worldwide broadcast," Yuna said. "I will tell them myself." 1 hour later, every television and computer on Earth showed Admiral Yuna's face. She stood in front of the camera with quiet dignity. Behind her, images played showing the hidden fleet the Shadow Gate, and the final battle. People of Earth, she began. Today, we survived. We survived an invasion from beings who believed we were weak, who believed we were nothing. They were wrong. She paused, letting her words sink in. For 60 years, your governments have kept a secret from you. In 1965, an alien ship crashed on our planet. From that ship, we learned that we were not alone in the universe. We also learned that others would come. Hostile others. And so we prepared. Images of the underground bases appeared on screens worldwide. People gasped as they saw the massive facilities hidden beneath oceans and mountains. Thousands of people worked in secrecy to build our defense. Scientists, engineers, soldiers, all of them gave their lives to this mission. Many of them never told their families what they were really doing. They carried this burden alone so that one day you could be safe. Yuna's voice grew stronger. Today, that sacrifice was honored. Our hidden fleet emerged. Our Shadow Gate opened. And we proved to the universe that humanity will not be conquered. We will not go quietly into the night. We will fight. We will survive. We will win. The broadcast showed footage of the final battle. People watched in amazement as human ships danced through space, destroying the alien fleet. They saw Captain Hana's brave charge. They saw the enemy command ship explode. This victory belongs to all of us, Yuna continued. It belongs to the soldiers who fought. It belongs to the scientists who built. It belongs to every person who ever dreamed of a future among the stars. Today, we take our first step into that future. She looked directly into the camera, her eyes filled with fire. To any other civilizations watching, let this be a message. Earth is not weak. Humans are not prey. We are warriors. We are survivors. We will defend our home against anyone who threatens it. And we will never, ever surrender. The broadcast ended. Across the world, people stood in stunned silence. Then the cheering began. It started quietly, then grew louder and louder until it seemed like the whole planet was shouting with one voice. In the week that followed, the world began to heal. Rescue teams worked without rest to help survivors from the destroyed cities. Nations that had fought each other for centuries now worked together without question. The invasion had shown humanity that their differences meant nothing compared to what united them. Captain Hana was released from the medical bay 3 days after the battle. She walked slowly through the corridors of the flagship, receiving salutes and thanks from every person she passed. She was embarrassed by the attention, but she accepted it with grace. Commander Tay met her in the observation deck. They stood together, looking at Earth through the massive windows. What happens now? Hannah asked. Now, everything changes, Tay said. The gate is just the beginning. We can travel to other star systems. We can explore the galaxy. We can meet other species, hopefully friendlier ones. And the prisoners? The aliens we captured? Tay was silent for a moment. We will treat them fairly. We will show them that humans are not the monsters they expected. Maybe, in time, we can find peace with their empire. Hannah nodded. My father would have liked that. He always said the goal was never to fight. The goal was to survive long enough to find another way. Your father was a wise man. Back on Earth, a monument was being planned. It would stand in the center of Seoul, near the place where Hana had grown up. The monument would honor everyone who had died in the invasion and everyone who had worked in secret to save humanity. Hana's father's name would be carved there, along with thousands of others. The Lieutenant Wu found Hana later that day. He was holding 2 cups of coffee. Captain, he said, I brought you something. Hana took the coffee with a tired smile. Thank you, Wu, and please, just call me Hana. We've been through too much for formality. Wu nodded. Hana, what do you think will happen to us? To humanity? Hannah looked out at the stars. There were so many of them. Each one was a sun. Each one might have planets. Each planet might have life. I think, she said slowly, that we just announced ourselves to the universe. We showed everyone what humans can do. Some will fear us. Some will respect us. Some will want to destroy us before we grow stronger. That doesn't sound good. Maybe not. But we'll be ready. We'll always be ready. She turned to look at Wu with determination in her eyes. Because that's who we are. We're humans. We prepare. We fight. We survive. And we never, ever give up. The stars twinkled silently beyond the window, holding secrets and dangers that humanity had only begun to imagine. But for the first time in human history, those stars felt like a challenge rather than a mystery, and humanity was ready to answer. Admiral Yuna's final message echoed across the galaxy. Traveling through space at the speed of light, reaching distant civilizations that humans had never known existed. You came to conquer. You found warriors. The universe had received its notice. Earth was no longer hiding. The Shadow Gate had opened, and humanity had emerged.